Pink, bro, ready for the interview?
Yes, sir.
That's right. He's about to get the job for sure.
I get this job.
To cut it right now, or you rather get it redone? Because if I cut it right now, you're not gonna be able to get your perm redone.
He has a perm?
What's the problem?
Yeah, but if you want it more curly, I would tell you to get it redone. Yeah. We could do a little whole video on it. Cause look, you see? Yeah. Okay. You see all these like curly right there? If I cut that, it's just gonna be more flat. It'll still look similar to it, but then I won't be able to perm it.
I got an interview
I
at
don't
Honda.
stock people, yeah.
Yeah, no.
At Honda?
At Honda of Santa Barbara.
Nice.
Gonna be a salesman.
Get right for the interview.
Yes, sir. Gotta look professional.
Alright guys, this is like my 10th time trying to do a voiceover on this video. So here I'm debulking my haircut with the number 8 guard. Working my way around. Making sure I don't cut too much off the top. Once you reach the top, you're flicking it out as much as you can. As you guys could see, I'm using my left hand to bring down some of that hair into my clipper. I'm sort of feeding it into it. After debulking my haircut, I'm gonna start by putting in my first guides. Usually people would debulk here with a number 2 or a 1.5. I'm just so used to it now that I go straight into it. So you see how my 8's technically like right about here. Then I kind of took it out. So like from here to here is not an 8 anymore, it's longer. You get me? You see? Like right about there. And then you take it and you flicked it out to make it longer. So you only have this much space to work with to do your blend. So you have to do.
Condensed blend, and then you'll come clean all this up with the clipper over comb.
Or texturizing, whatever.
And the tools of the day, the Gold FXs, the Low Pro.
I want to tell Alicia, let me borrow hers.
With some wall guards.
Even here, it's tougher to do like more of that condensed what he wants it. Just a lower blend. You waited a while on him.
Yeah. I waited 4 months. I grew up for 4 months.
4 month wait.
Yes, sir.
Don't fuck it up now, Jerry. Jerry's the man for the job.
Alright, after putting in my first guide, I went in with my clipper closed, and then I did another guide with my clipper open. After that, I used the clipper over comb technique to blend in into my 8 guard. I tried blending it down as much as I could so I could mimic a 1.5. So then right after that, I pick it up with the 1.5 guard. I start with the 1.5 guard open. I do my blending, I close it, and then that allows me to start and pick it up with a number 1 guard open. After that, I close it, I blend out as much as I can. That puts me down to a half clip. Same steps, open, blend, close it, blend out as much as I can. That allows me to pick up into a master's open. I like using the masters instead of any other clipper because the masters with no guard goes into the half clip. Here's where you're gonna do most of your detailed work. After finishing blending up with your masters, you're gonna blend out that last guide with your trimmer. You're gonna go back in and clean it up with your shaver real quick. This is a pretty quick explanation of how I do it. Eventually, as the YouTube channel gets bigger, we'll do more in-depth videos on all of these techniques. Unfortunately for this part of the video, the camera died and we can't show you the clip over comb, but it's pretty much the same thing as I did on the back. I started with my clipper closed, did my first guide, opened my clipper and did my second guide. I make sure to stay as low as I can so I can make the taper very condensed.
Alright, so let me know the difference that y'all see because we had to switch to the phone just now. My other camera just died. So y'all will get to see the quality difference and see if this $2,000 plus setup is better than an iPhone 13. So after the clipper over comb, you did 1.5,
Yeah.
and then down to the 1. Now.
1.5. Same thing as I did in the back. After my half guard, I go in with my masters open. I do a lot of corner work to make sure that I keep the fade nice and tight and condensed. After finishing the taper, I blend his beard real quick. I just do my steps in reverse. I'll probably just make another video for just beard blending. After blending his beard, I started edging up his hairline. Remember guys, you never want to push their hairline back. If you feel that you might have to push it back a little, you could always ask your clients, but even then, try to convince them not to. At the end of the day, if you push it too far back, it's gonna be your fault. Here, I'm just kind of hitting it with the shaver just to make it a little bit more skin. After edging up the hairline with the trimmer, I go in with my straight razor. When you're using the straight razor, one of the most important parts you need to remember is to always pull back the skin.
So you're gonna do a different process on this side?
Well, just the beginning, I always do the same.
Yeah. Close, open.
Just to get that same angle like this with all guards, I find it a little bit harder. I tend to take too much off. I have to just kind of flick it out more.
Yeah. So generally, Jerry would use more of a all guard system, but it's kind of, it's not the best way to do this type of.
Because you'll end up cutting too much hair off. You just gotta be careful.
So on this side, you're gonna show like how you would have a beginner, more of a beginner do it.
I would have, it's a lot harder to mess up in the sense of like not doing the blend right. You could cut a little bit more, but I would rather them cut a little bit more than not do the blend right.
So start
From it was an 8, a 6, and I'm going down to a 4. It's even like that right there, I'm putting pressure on the head and I can't go any further than that. So I can't cut more hair than I need to. But with the clip over comb, you can. And I gotta go even lower. I'm going into a little bit too much. But you see how only you're barely touching it? That would be the hard part for someone that,
yeah.
where you legit, like you barely.
So this is just a harder haircut for somebody who's just getting started in general. So you did 8, 6, 4,
2, and then I'm back down to my 1.5. With these kind of haircuts, you barely want to take anything off.
now 1 guard. And the 1.5, all of those were closed, right? Except for the 1.5 and the 1.
Yeah.
Open and closed.
Open and closed. Especially when using guards, don't spend too much time on it. Because you're gonna go over it so many times that you don't need to. Like even right now when I wash this hair and I blow dry it, you're gonna see a bunch of little stragglers. Because I don't like all that.
Now with the masters, so if somebody doesn't have masters, you just got to go in with
Be more of an angle when you have it open.
your regular clippers.
Yeah, just be more of an angle and then work your way down.
Yeah, that way you don't cut as much and then you go into cutting more. As
Or you could do corner work, which I think is a little bit harder, but...
So that's kind of a simpler way to do detailing.
Yeah.
Just start with more of the teeth and then angle it down to being more flat. And the more flat you are, the more you're gonna cut.
Here I'm gonna edge up his left side of his hairline. I did notice that on the right side of his hairline, I didn't make it as curved, which is pretty cool doing these little voiceovers because I get to see things like that in my own work. You see how I'm kind of a little bit more, you know, on the other side I might have to, when I go to cut it around with the shears, I might have to cut a little bit more on the other side. And that's it. It doesn't even look like it took off a lot. You get me?
No, that was quick.
But that's all you need to do. It's just a little bit more, like around here. I'm just gonna, I'll do it texturizing shears and stuff like that.
Comment down below if y'all could tell the difference.
Just a little bit more bulky over there. All right, so on this side, I'm gonna line up the back of his taper around his ear. As you could notice, look at how heavy I am with pulling his ear back. I'm not telling you to rip his ear off or anything, but don't be afraid to push their ear back so you could get in there and work your trimmer around the hairline.
Is that always how you approach it with the razor, or just because I'm recording?
On this way?
Yeah.
No, I probably would do it the other, like this. Or just, it's easier for you to like see. I mean, if you can't do it like underhand, because this is harder, then yeah, just flip over and do it like this when you're first starting. Or try to do it like this eventually. This is easier for beginners, you get me? When you guys use a razor, make sure to pull on the skin, go around the edge up, just enough to clean it up and go back in with your shaver. I like this method because it helps you be a little bit quicker, more efficient, and it's less chances of you cutting your clients.
Johnny B, and if y'all are interested in any of the products, anything that we're using in the video, all links are in the description. And the products you can actually get from the site, creationshairstudio.com. If y'all want a video on how to properly wash hair, let us know, because Jerry is actually a hairstylist as well, so he's more properly informed on how to do that. He has more experience with that.
So I decided to wash his hair because I noticed that he had somewhat of a hat hair. And if I sent him home like this, he would have eventually washed his hair and he would have seen a lot of imperfections. By me doing this at the shop, I could go back in and clean up his haircut so that it looks that much better.
So see, this is where the hairstylist comes out in Jerry. Probably something that barbers wouldn't generally do. This is to repair the hair. Is that something barbers do, Jerry?
No, I don't care. They don't even wash their hair.
Looks a lot more curly than when...
Yeah, right now because it's wet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you approach this much hair when you... Same thing? Start in the middle?
Yeah, down the, like a mohawk down the middle. I mean, you can part it if you want. Maybe we'll do a video where I part one day.
Okay.
When I trim the top of my client's hair, I always use the same technique. I start down the middle with the mohawk section. I pick it back up in the front and use my mohawk section as a guide. I bring it all the way back, taking the same amount of hair off. I'll work on the left side first and then I work on the right side. I bring everything straight up. Any little detail work where I'll cut more off than I did in my mohawk section, I do last. But when I do this, I make sure to do the same thing on the other side. As you saw there, I took a little bit off of the left corner and I did the same thing on the right corner, and then I connected them together. After trimming the top, I decided to debulk some of the length on the sides. I worked my way around his head, trying to do the same thing. I'm not trying to blend the top into the bottom. With the texturizing shears, I'm just removing some bulk. I went back with my clipper over comb to blend more. You guys gotta remember that it's very difficult to blend with your texturizing shears. Use them to remove bulk and then go back in and blend into that. As a beginning barber, it's very easy to make holes with the texturizing shears if you try to use them to blend. All of these little spots that I'm taking care of now, I wouldn't have been able to see them if I did not wash his hair. Sometimes you have to do that when clients come in with hat hair, bad hair. This is more of a detailed work after I washed his hair, and as you could see, I did trim off a good amount of hair after I washed it, which helped me achieve more of the look that he wanted.
pink, bro. Ready for the interview?
Yes, sir.
That's right. He's about to get a job for
I
sure.
get this job. If y'all want a car,
Yeah. Hit him up. Hit him up.